Yo, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the podcast, another episode of Caffeine and Green with your man, Conor Cardenas. And per usual, before we get into it today, I just want to make sure that you guys are heading on over to www.caffeineandgreenroasting.com today for all of your coffee needs. That's right. You can head on over to the website today. You can get the Issa Blend, the Morning Sesh, or that brand new Notorious, that single origin Costa Rican coffee that is oh so tasty. All available on the website. You can also pick up any merch that you wanted, any cups. But another great thing I wanted to share with you guys is that now you can get Caffeine and Green's Issa Blend specifically over at Bulldog Brew off of Morena Boulevard. It's going to be 2555. That's 2555 Morena Boulevard, San Diego, California. That's right. You head on over there. You can get any coffee drink with the Issa Blend in it. So very excited to announce that. So guys, head on down there, get that coffee, or if you want, like I said earlier, you can head on over to www.caffeineandgreenroasting.com today. All right, my guest today is no stranger to the podcast. Of course, I'm talking about my man, Tyler Herrera. That's right, he is the owner of Tired Eyes Coffee, and as of recently, he just actually closed the brick and mortar of Tired Eyes and has now moved fully online. And he has a warehouse, and he has a lot of things that we went over and just kind of talked about the whole situation. And I have to say, it was a great conversation. There is some gnarly information about his bike accident and things that he's been going through with his legs. So guys, this is a good show. It's very inspirational. He's so knowledgeable about amazing things, but I won't keep you any longer. So without further ado, my man, Tyler Herrera. This is your time to shine, homie. Let's go. Caffeine and Green. It's your boy Conor. What's good? Good. Caffeine and Green. And we are live. Tyler Herrera. Welcome back to Caffeine and Green, sir.
Thank you, man. It's my pleasure. I'm honored.
Dude, yes. I'm fucking super stoked you're back. It's been quite the year for you, I would say.
Yeah.
We're coming to a close, and Sarah, you have just closed Tired Eyes, like the brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't part of my plan this year by any means, but it was just kind of becoming more and more apparent as the year went on that might be my next move. So I will say, sometime in the summertime is when I decided like I was going to close it, but there's obviously a lot of baggage that comes with that, and you can't just say, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's obviously the dominant storyline for Tired Eyes this year. But again, like you said, it's just a brick and mortar. So I still have Tired Eyes. So still got lots of plans for it, but just needed to switch it up,
Yeah. I mean, so you closed the 28th of November, right?
Yeah. So just like 3 weeks ago. It's crazy.
It's already flown by.
Yeah.
Damn. So 3 weeks ago, now, like, I've been watching the story, your story and stuff like that, but like, you still have your warehouse.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I got a warehouse in National City, and that was a big part of it. Was I got the warehouse at the end of May, like beginning of June. So that's really when the gears kind of started turning, where I was like, well, if I do decide to do this, I still have somewhere to like run my business and like build it. And like, that's really important to me, is just having a creative space.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, that's when I really started thinking like, wow, I really might leave the shop, is once I got the warehouse, and that's in National City. And I love the warehouse. I'm very hyped to have that.
Yeah. Is it, are you just doing like packaging and stuff like that? Cause I see I would imagine you have all your merch and like your inventory and stuff, but like, are you able to do all of your, like, you're doing a lot of, like, what is it called? Like a CCS, like, or like your backend programming kind of thing? Like coding?
Yeah. CSS.
CSS.
So that's, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just dive right into it.
Oh, we're going right into it. Bro.
Yeah. I mean, so I haven't talked very publicly about this, because in general, I'm kind of a little more private, but so a big part of the reason I decided to move on was like, I really just realized I wanted to like do more marketing and like building brands and stuff. Like I really realized that's what I loved about Tired Eyes. And so I started, I've always had to market for Tired Eyes. You know what I mean? That any small business owner should and has to learn about marketing. But yeah, so I have an office there where I'm kind of turning it into my own little studio where I'm teaching myself to code a little bit, just because I think it's necessary if you're a digital marketer to have some background in it. But the biggest thing is I'm working on just kind of a broad set of digital marketing skills so I can work with other brands and help them market their brand better.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I have the office there where I do a lot of that. And then there's the actual, or where I'm teaching myself a lot of stuff, and it will eventually be like a studio, for like videos and stuff like that. I'm sure a podcast down the line, but so I'm really exploring that for myself right now, just as, as a true passion that I didn't know I had, was just digital marketing stuff. But then I have the warehouse component where I have a Diedrich in there. I have, our inventory. I pack all our orders from there. And it's like, everything's a mess in there right now. I'm like building the warehouse out, you know what I mean? And I'm like doing it with a very, strict budget. So it's just going to take time, But I mean, I still have a space, and that's really important to me to just have a space in the city where I can, do my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why digital marketing? I mean, I know you said that because you were doing it for Tired Eyes, but what sparked this, like, I mean, I dare to say passion about it? Because, dude, I mean, I'm watching your story constantly. I've talked to you about how you've influenced the books that I've read and like audiobooks that I've picked up, because it's like, they're super helpful. And then when I actually do the research to look into them, they're like highly renowned and like super suggested by so many different people.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you listen to it, these books, or like read the book, and it's like, damn. And it's, you kind of already know these things, but like fine tuning and like really just sifting through the bullshit and like nailing it down and getting better and more efficient at what your job is.
Yeah.
It's been like what started to like drive you to like talk about it so much and really just, again, be passionate about it?
I mean, I think I just saw here's a huge component of it. And we'll knock out two birds with one stone with this. So I was getting burnt out at the shop, and a big component of that was about 6 years ago. I like had like an insane injury to my ankle. Like I dislocated my ankle riding BMX, of course. I dislocated my ankle, broke my foot, ruptured all the tendons, and it was like wide open. Like my foot was hanging off my leg. Like
what?
Yeah, I'll show you pictures afterwards. Anyone who's seen the picture, like it looks like a movie prop. Like it's actually a miracle that I have my foot still. It was like, long story. That's for another time.
How did we never talk about that?
I mean, because like it's such a long, intense story. Yeah, it has shaped much of my adult life, because that happened when I was 22, maybe. So like it changed my life. And also people don't know it because I still ride. You would think after something like that you'd stop riding, but anyway. So like I said, that's for another time. But so I've been really lucky that I haven't had much residual effects from that, because I took recovery really seriously. But this year, last year and coming into this year, I was riding really hard. Probably the hardest I've ridden in my adult life. And the injury, like that, my right leg, it kind of started flaring up. And what I now know is it was nerve damage from the initial injury. And so BMX is like, obviously my first love. And so suddenly I was kind of looking down, or I was wondering, like, I wasn't able to ride. Like, again, we won't get too far into this, but I woke up twice this summer and my right leg was paralyzed.
I remember you telling me this.
Yeah.
Scary.
So it got real bad, and I could directly correlate it to like heavy work weeks at the shop where I was on my feet a lot. So like the first time my leg went paralyzed, I just kind of, was like, it's a fluke, but then the second time it happened, I was like, something has to change. I was like, clearly something is up. And that's when I realized like, I think I got to leave the shop. Like I'm working on my feet too much. But all that being said, to tie this into the digital marketing stuff, this whole time I'm thinking, when COVID struck, I went fully online, closed up the shop. I really, really enjoyed that experience of like direct to consumer, just running it through your web store. It was just really exciting because you could be so creative in how you engage with your customers. So this whole time my leg is happening, or my leg is flaring up. It's just kind of in the back of my head, like, damn, I got to start thinking about like my future. Like if I don't have the shop anymore, like what am I going to do long term? And I just realized like, well, you fucking love this marketing stuff and you can do that from a computer from anywhere, So a I am such a passionate person that I am healing now. My leg is getting better, and a big component of that is because I work from home a lot. I work from my computer a lot. I'm like resting a lot. So that was a huge thing, was like, well, you're passionate about the marketing. If you lean into that, it'll allow you the freedom to ride more. Like I can heal. So it was kind of a very conscious decision of like, I have to do something that's going to allow me to live the lifestyle I want. So yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's a very, dude, I like how you said that right there. Live that lifestyle that you want.
Yeah. I mean,
That's amazing.
yeah, it was, that was a long-winded way of saying, again, my passion for digital marketing or for marketing in general, was always kind of simmering under the surface. But once I realized like, damn, I can't be on my feet. The more I'm on my feet, the less I can ride. I was like, you know what? I got to switch it up, because riding is like, riding, riding is my number one, like I don't get shit from riding in terms of, pay or, I'm never going pro, nothing like that. But look, man, I could die tomorrow. We any of us could go at any minute. And I'm just a firm believer, like you should do the things you love. And like nothing makes me feel as alive as riding does. So that it just really came down to like, damn, I'm still young. I can heal. I want to get better. I want to get more healthy, and I just want to do what I love.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah, you know the feeling. You've had injuries. You've skated, all that.
I mean, yeah, dude. I was like, I actually had my. What are you? You said you're 28 now.
I'm 29.
29. I had my. I think that's when I had like my like debilitating injury. Like much like your foot. That's when I broke my back. I was like 28 or 29.
Yeah,
that was tough.
Yeah, and dude, tough is the right word. Like this whole year has been really hard because it started flaring up in January, but I was really ignoring it. And then April, I took a road trip out to Phoenix, and I remember I was trying to ride through the pain out there, and like my body was just not like the same. You know what I mean? Because I was in so much pain while I was riding, and I just had this crazy moment. I'll never forget that, like, again, in Phoenix by myself, just on a little solo riding trip. And I just had this moment of like, dude, like, you might not be able to ride your bike anymore unless you take this seriously. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so yeah, that was a big component of it. And yeah, again, at that time, I'd just been doing a lot of reading about marketing and stuff. Cause honestly, I guess I should backtrack a little bit. Marketing saved my business. You know what I mean? Because like, think about it. I opened August of 2019 in downtown, the shop. So 6 months later, COVID hits and we shut down.
Oh my God, I was doing the math in my head. I was like, wait, August 2019, like damn. Yeah. And then March.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So dude, I was freshly open, and like, wow. If you've been to downtown, since COVID, you know how gnarly it has gotten. And so like, I mean, dude, I doubled, we reopened after COVID, in August of 2020. We were closed for 5 months because I was just trying to figure out, honestly, I was just running the business online and it was working. But anyways, when we reopened after COVID, I was just like, I had to put my foot on the gas pedal in terms of marketing, and that's like when I really shout out my dude Shane Coker. He's our photographer, and I started working with him in August of 2020, and that's when it really started to click. I was like, damn, I got to lean into this marketing shit.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it was always kind of simmering under the surface. But then once the injury started flaring up, I was like, okay, now this marketing stuff isn't just going to be kind of a passion in the background. Like it kind of has to take over for my future because I can't work. I can't work long hours on my feet the way I used to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And roasting, running a shop, like it's long hours on your feet,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So it was just kind of, life was just happening to me and I had to make a choice.
That's like some boss shit though. You're just like, damn, you're just like pivoting. It's like, to really think about it, as you're telling me this right now, the first thing that comes to mind is like, you're going to be marketing more, but you do have a roaster. It's like at some point, it doesn't seem like roasting would even be a thing anymore. It would be like, just do digital marketing because that's the way of the future in terms of, especially financially rewarding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I can just snowball off that, I mean, that's where my head's at right now is I'm taking a big break right now, like for the next, month or two. Just reevaluating, kind of figuring out where the brand is going next. And also I'm spending a lot of time working on my leg to try and just, get back to full health. I'm in physical therapy and stuff. But what I see happening is I think Tired Eyes will just be kind of my fun, like passion project that I can test all these marketing things with, you know what I mean? All these new things I'm learning. And what I see happening is I'll always have Tired Eyes, but I'll probably hire a roaster eventually because I think I'm just at that stage also where like I would love to hire a roaster and teach someone how to roast, and like hand that off to them while I handle the creative kind of marketing element of Tired Eyes. And
damn.
Yeah, I mean that's
so crazy. Like for me, that's like mind blown.
I mean, again, it's just like I've been forced to think big picture because, trust me, when you wake up in the middle of the night and your leg's not moving.
Oh, dude, I know. I've been there actually. When
really?
I broke my back.
Because dude,
I dislocated my hip in the same fall. So I cracked the L5 vertebrae in my back, and then I dislocated my hip in the same fall. But because I was like adrenaline out, I was still able to move for the day. I was loose. I was good. I woke up the next morning. I couldn't get out of bed. My leg did not work. It wouldn't bend and shit. It was crazy.
Yeah, man. It's life-changing.
Yeah.
Again, the first time it happened, I was like, you were sleeping on it funny. Maybe your leg just fell asleep. Second time, I woke up from a long day at the shop. It was a Saturday, I remember. And I got home and I took a nap. And I woke up just like 15 minutes into the nap because I remember I tried to move. Like I tried to roll over. And my leg was just dead. Like it felt like my leg was just a bag of like sand, like, whoa. Yeah. And so I had to like grab it and like move my leg with my hands and just wait there for like 3 minutes. And like, finally it started tingling again. And then like, I was just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
scary.
Scary stuff. And I've just been forced to reevaluate. So yeah, bigger picture. I'm like, my responsibilities have to be on the more creative side of things, and I can't be doing the manual labor forever, so.
Dude, yeah, that's like a harsh reality. I don't think I've actually thought about too much yet, but but like I mean it is that way too because I do social media now too for like the fight promotion that I do. So I'm like, dude, I'm constantly creating and doing all these things, but I'm in the same boat. That's why watching you do this, and then like I'm like, oh damn, I'm like taking heed to your advice essentially, because it's like I need to know these things better, and you can always improve. And like I'm a strong believer in that. You have to be better than you were yesterday. Like you have 100%. To keep advancing, and you have to keep adapting. It's like, dude, there's so many people out today still in 2021 who don't understand like basic computer shit, emails, doing these things, and like grown ass people. And I'm not gonna throw nobody under the bus, but like people that I know that I see a lot that are like, no, I can't do this. It's like, what the fuck you mean? Like, you need to be doing these things. You need to be like figuring something out. Learn. Go watch YouTube video when you're doing this. Like, why are you not watching something that's gonna make you better? Yeah,
and again, just to piggyback off that. for I'm sure many small roasters and small business owners are listening to this. Coffee is ultimately a generic product.
Mm-hmm.
The market is so saturated with coffee roasters, and it's never going to go out of style. There's always a demand for it, and that's good. But simply just becoming a better roaster, simply focusing on your coffee program is not enough in such a crowded market. So that's just to say that for people like yourself and myself, who are small and are trying to grow, you have to think about your brand and your marketing, because it's really ultimately what can set you apart. Because look, let's take my mom for example, a very average coffee drinker, throws it in her Mr. Coffee every morning, like probably puts some French vanilla creamer in there. I could give her a bag of Tired Eyes and I could give her a bag of Caffeine and Green, and you and I could tell the difference.
Yeah.
But my mom would not know the difference.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. It's generic,
Yeah.
And so like, I think, that's where I think, just as, again, just as advice to other small roasters is, really, really learn how to talk about your product and how to sell it, and communicate a clear message about what your brand stands for,
Mm-hmm.
because again, like, coffee is, to the average consumer, coffee is generic, like
Yeah.
I could drink a bag of Steady State and be like, damn, Elliot's such a better roaster than I am, you know, but still I could give that bag of Steady State to my mom and she wouldn't know the difference,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, it's exactly like that Ryan Holiday in the book, The Growth Hacker.
Yeah.
He talks about cornering your market and getting that niche, separating yourself from the pack.
100%.
And that's essentially, without even knowing, just put a label on it at the beginning. That's what I wanted to do. It's like I wanted to carve my own path, right, with Caffeine and Green. I wanted to separate myself by like being like this skateboarding, fighting, hip hop
Yeah.
coffee brand, if you will. But nobody's doing that, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna go in my own lane, and eventually, you find people find you, or you find them, or like you do events that are gonna be better, and like, they either love the coffee or not. They're gonna pour their oat milk in it,
Yeah.
pour their sugar, honey, whatever. They don't care. But if they can get behind what you're doing, and you have like a message that resonates with people,
Yeah.
that's everything. And then but at the end of the day, you're not even a coffee company anymore.
Yeah.
You're a brand.
It's but that's powerful. Brand is it's a tool and it's a distinguishing trait for your company, and I saw that this time last year when we really started leaning into the BMX stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. This marketing stuff has really just kind of been slowly, developing for me. Is when we started leaning into the BMX stuff, I realized our brand has always been strong, but really kind of pitching this this kind of street element to it and really leaning into that really distinguished us,
Yeah.
And if you go back and look at our photos from that time, and just our brand as it's evolved, just to reference Ryan Holiday again, like he talks about like product market fit.
Yeah.
Yep. When you see our photos of these nice beanies, these nice hoodies, these shirts, whatever it may be whatever merch we've made, when you see it being worn by a BMX rider on a BMX bike, it's authentic and it's in alignment with that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my homie Albert, like if I went out and rode with him right now when we meet up, I guarantee you he would have one of our little Tired Eyes like shoulder bags on, and he would have his tools in it, and he would have an extra tube in it.
Sick.
And so that's what I'm saying is I started to notice that product market fit where I was like, oh shit, we can really carve out an identity with this. And we're really quiet right now on Instagram and stuff. And like, again, I'm just taking a breather. But I have a lot of ideas about moving forward, how we're going to really honestly become more of a lifestyle brand,
Yeah. It's exactly what it is, bro.
Yeah. And that's across the board for any business. No matter what your product is, it's a saturated market because it's never been easier to start a business, you know? So whatever business that you're in, if you can align yourself with a lifestyle, that's a really quick and easy way to carve out an identity for yourself. And I mean, like you said, you're doing it with Caffeine and Green and skating and fighting, you know, and these more active lifestyles, you know, aligning yourself with the lifestyle is really, really powerful.
But you know what's funny, and I think you can definitely relate to this, is that when you started leaning more into it, I feel like you even got more excited about Tired Ice because now that's an extension of you, right? This is fully you. And that's the way I look at Caffeine and Green is like, when you look at it, it's like, bro, that's like me in a nutshell. Just like my homies are fighting or I'll be fighting or training. And then it's like, there's the skate homies and then there's coffee.
Yeah.
And then there's hip hop. And it's like, if you can sum it up, it's like, that would be me, right? So it's an extension of you. And people really, like, if they want to know you at your core values or beliefs, whatever, like how you see yourself, that's what it is. And it's like, when I saw you start getting in the BMX shit, I was like, yo, that's super dope because again, this is even more you now. And so it's like, you're kind of like, I don't know, you got your swag, you know, you feel like you kind of got a little bit more swaggy.
100%. That's the word I use. It's even in our fucking Instagram bio, you know.
Is it?
It's a coffee swag BMX.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that sums it up. And you know, like I just 100% agree. And that's, again, this departure from the shop has slowly been kind of, you know, again, just simmering because I saw that when we started leaning into the BMX stuff for myself. You know, I was like, I had never been more fulfilled with Tired Eyes than when I started leaning into the BMX stuff. So when my injury really started flaring up and suddenly I couldn't do the BMX stuff, I was like, hell no. You know what I mean? I was like, I gotta change something because I knew I would never be more fulfilled than I was leaning into BMX. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like, cause the alternative was like, okay, I keep the shop, you know, I can't really, it's not authentic that was the thing is it didn't feel authentic if I was pushing BMX and I can't ride. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like, the shop has got to go, you know, is like, I have to be able to ride and I have to be able to use Tired Eyes as, you know, a brand that can highlight this lifestyle. Cause if I can't do that, then I lose all my passion.
But everything feeds each other. Like the balance, right? Like, I mean, you do a lot. You do a lot. You're one of the guys that I would honestly say, like, you're built for this. Like,
Thank you.
You know, the manual labor. Yeah. Like right now you're hurt or whatever, but like you're going to heal and you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like,
thank you.
You know, and then it's like, you got the coffee, you got the marketing, you have all these different facets. You teach yourself all these things. And it's like, some people can't do that. You know what I mean? But like, it's like, there's this samurai. It's like, Miyato Mate. It's like
I don't know.
God is it, whatever. So. He's a samurai, but he does this. He has this book, and it's called like the art of 5 rings or something like that. And it's like he talks about balance, and how you have to be like a calligraphy. You have to be good at like speaking, and you have to be good at dancing, and all of this as he's like one of the most badass samurais of all time.
Everything influences one another. You know?
And if you start slacking, everything fucks up. So you can't stop once you start learning, in a sense.
Dude, and that's what I'm saying is I made a post about it on Instagram recently that did, you know, really resonated with my followers is BMX keeps me honest. You know what I mean? Like if you slack in BMX as you age, you feel it immediately. You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm talking about? It's like if you're like, you know, busy with your life or whatever, it happens, you know, and then you get your first session in a month, you're going to feel that shit. You know what I mean? Like you're going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're not going to ride well. And so BMX for me it's very grounding and humbling. And again, it keeps me honest. Like when I'm riding regularly, it provides that balance and that motivation and it keeps me in check.
Tight.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so again, when that started to disappear, my enthusiasm for tire ice really dipped, and I was like, holy shit, I got to change something,
Yeah.
you know? And so, yeah, so I feel like I'm kind of, slowly getting back to a more balanced approach where like I'm marketing, I'm, still roasting the coffee, and like building, the Tired Eyes brand little by little, but I'm also riding again, and I just have more balance in my life. And that wouldn't have happened if I kept the shop, you know.
Dude, how did you get hurt?
Uh, it was actually, John Adams Elementary on Adams Avenue. It used to have like a little 3-stair, but now it's like pretty close to Blind Lady Ale House. It used to have a little 3-stair stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it has 2 ledges with like coping on it.
Mm-hmm.
They have a little gap in the middle. But so this was in 2015. Yeah, I think 2015. Yeah, it was in 2015, March of 2015. I was riding that little 3-stair, and it was crazy. I had just gotten back from knee surgery. I tore my meniscus in my left knee.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I had just recovered from that. It was my first session back, and so I was feeling a little saucy. I was 22. I was like feeling like kind of invincible because here I am, coming off knee surgery, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna ride hard. So I go out and I have this session, and it's a good session. I'm feeling good. I was doing a manual to 180 on that 3-stair. And I landed it 3 times in a row, and I was like, damn, I'm back. I was like, I'm feeling good. And so I was like, I'm going to do manual to 360. Again, very, very young brain I had, thinking I was just going to go that hard my first session back. I just didn't know how to like pump the brakes. But so I hop up the 3-stair, I'm manualing, and I go to pop the 360, but like, I basically just had like, essentially like a brain fart where like, when you go to try a new trick, you psych yourself out at the last possible second.
Yep.
Because you're like, oh wait, I don't know how to actually do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went to pop the 360, and I just like froze. I just kind of dead sailored. And so I did the 180, but I wasn't finishing the rotation, like the full 360. So I'm coming down backwards off, in the air, coming down backwards off the 3-stair. And I was lopsided because of the weird pop I got. I put my right foot out to brace the fall, and my left foot was still on the other pedal. So my right foot hits the ground, but then my back wheel lands right on my ankle, and all my weight comes down on my bike. So my wheel acted as like this leverage point, and it like snapped my ankle.
Oh.
And like, it was insane. When it happened, I thought I broke my leg, and I lifted my leg up. I have a photo of it because I took a picture because I was in so much shock. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I lifted my leg up, and my foot was hanging off my leg. Like, I could see all my bones. I could see my Achilles tendon. Like,
oh my God, dude.
It was insane.
It basically almost amputated your fucking foot.
It looks like an axe to my foot. And so I went into full-blown shock. I didn't even panic. I just like, there were some skaters there. They flipped out. One of them was just like stone cold, like frozen, like looking at me. And I was just like, call 911. And he was obviously in shock too. He goes, you want an ambulance? Like typical skater, like, are you sure you want to pay for the ambulance, And I was like,
yeah,
and
bro.
I was like,
yeah.
I was like, I told him, I was like, I can't get up, call 911, And I was totally calm because I just honestly, in that moment, I was like, dude, I have to surrender to this. I'm fucked,
Oh
So I called my mom. Yeah, I called my mom. I told her she's had that phone call from me before. She's picked me up from a spot when I was a kid and like rushed me to the hospital for other shit. So she was like, she didn't really believe me. When I told her, I was like, Mom, I think I just like amputated my foot, because I was also calm. But so yeah, that's how I did it. Long story short, it was like a fucking miracle situation. I was 2 blocks away from a firehouse, so paramedics were there. Like literally the skater was on the phone, and I heard the sirens go off, and I was like, oh shit, they're right around the corner.
Damn, so lucky.
Yeah, and that's what saved my foot, is paramedics got there like immediately, and they like started working on me. Like it was fucking crazy. It was like, And even when I went into surgery, it was, I was like pretty fucked up on morphine at this point. So my mom and my sister remember this better than I do. They were right outside the operating room with me. The surgeon told them, like, hey, we don't know that his foot's going to stay on. We're going to go in there and do the best that we can to like reattach it, but like we don't really know what's going to happen with it. Like he might have just like a dead foot.
Gnarly, dude.
Yeah,
Oh
it was fucking,
my
it was
God.
life changing. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. And to illustrate how severe it was, my sister is an operating room nurse. So like she sees crazy shit. She sees stuff like what happened to my foot. She was the first one into the uh into the like ER with me. She walks in to the room, and at this point I'm like, again, I was pretty high on morphine, but I showed her the photo because none of the doctors would tell me like how bad it was, you know, because they can't like scare you. It's their
Yeah.
job to stay calm. So they just would say, I would ask them like, how bad is this? And they would just say like, we're going to find out, you know, like we're going to take care of you. They were just doing their job. But so my sister walks in, I show her the photo because at that point my leg is all like wrapped up and shit. I show her the photo and I ask her, I was like, am I going to keep my foot? And she just looked at me and she went into nurse mode and she said the same thing. She said, we're going to find out. But the look on her face said it all to me. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is really
serious.
bad.
Yeah.
Turns out one of my brothers was out in the waiting area. She walked out to him and said, like, I think they're going to cut his foot off.
Oh,
She told me that after the
God.
fact, you know, but like she even as an operating room nurse, she was like, I think they might have to amputate his foot. Like, so.
And it was like only at the ankle?
Yeah.
Like it would have been like basically from the ankle?
Yeah. I just would have had like a nub, like no foot. Like, I'll show you the photo after this.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Dude, oh my God. I can't believe I've talked to you twice and we've had hours of conversation and I've never heard that. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I keep a lot of stuff, you know, low key.
Dude,
you know,
that's
like,
so gnarly, bro.
yeah, it was life changing. And again, like, you know, I mean, I have lived a, you know, I've had a lot of shit happen to me at a young age. And so, you know, another crazy thing is, this all ties into the decision to leave the shop. You know, it really does. Don't worry.
Yeah. No, you're fine.
This isn't just like a therapy session or some shit.
No, dude, we're
just to
catching
like
up.
illustrate everything. Like, so, you know, that obviously life-changing event. That was way before I opened the shop. But anyways, I get back to riding after the injury. And
How long was the healing process for that?
9 months.
Like from start to finish?
Yeah, not
Damn,
bad.
that's
Dude,
super
I was
fast.
like, I was committed. You know, I'm a very ambitious person. So when they told me like, we don't know if you're going to ride again, I was like, all right, just watch.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know what it's like. That's any athlete. I think when you hear a doctor say like, we don't know, your first thought is like, well, I'm going to prove I can.
Yeah.
You know? But anyways, so 2 months after I opened the shop, my dad passed away unexpectedly.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like just overnight, had a heart attack. So that was 2 months after I opened the shop. That was October 2019. So that happened, and you know, I was 26 when my dad passed away, and so here I am with this brand new business, like teaching myself on the fly how to do this thing. My dad passes away, and I have to show up to my shop the next day. You know, like real life shit. You know, and so that happened, and then just 4 months after my dad passed, COVID hits, right? So then I close up shop. A big part of the reason I closed up the shop for so long was like I had no time to grieve my dad's death. So when COVID hit, I knew I was going to close the shop for at least a couple months just so I could like grieve my dad's death finally. And then just a couple months after COVID hit, my sister, who was 31 at the time, no, she was 30 at the time, I think. Either way, very young, got diagnosed with breast cancer. Yeah, so and I'm very close with my family. So like pretty much ever since I opened the shop, and by ever since, I mean, since my dad died, I always had this overwhelming feeling of like, not that I was wasting my time, but that life was too short not to be doing the things that like I love more than anything else in the world.
For sure.
You know, so my dad dies, my sister gets cancer at a very young age, and you know, she's good now, but she has gone through, you know, hell and back to heal. And then my injury starts flaring up again, and I just had all these signs pointing towards like, dude, you're young, and like if I could die at any minute, which I've now seen, you know, I've lived that, you know, experience. I'm just like, I want to be riding my BMX bike.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds corny and it sounds, you know, childish, but like, dude, that's who I am. I'm a BMX rider, you know, and so yeah, so it's this is the first time I've been very public about all of this. But so I proved I could run a shop. I opened it. I did it DIY. You know, like I did all that. I grew it. You know, I really reached my goals. And then again, when my injury really started flaring up, I was just like, I think that's it for now. You know, I still want a shop in the future, and I still love the feeling of like, you know, there's nothing like being a part of your community in your city. You know, like, so I still daydream about like, damn, when we have a shop again. But like right now, I'm just focused on like healing my body, healing my psyche, and just like enjoying my time.
Yeah, dude, fuck. I would
Yeah.
definitely say your psyche more. I mean, like your body for sure, but like
Yeah.
you've been dealing with some heavy shit, bro. That's heavy.
Yeah. It's been nonstop since I opened the shop, you know, and like I am not a woe is me type person, you know. I embrace challenges and I embrace adversity, and like I've dealt with a lot in my life from a young age. So it's, you know, all that is not to say like, yeah, this sucks, I just had to give it up. Like I am very at peace with the decision.
Yeah.
But I just had to make a very adult decision of like, I wasn't mentally healthy for the last, like, honestly, for the last like year. Again, since my ankle really started flaring up, I was just like, the burnout was just slowly settling in, you know, because I had just been dealing with so much, and I just needed to make a change, you know.
Do you think, you know, that, you know, losing your dad and then like the stuff with your sister, do you think that, you know, because your mental state is already so weakened by those like losses and tragic, or not tragic, but like life-changing events, but then also like family, you know, it's like, do you think that could also have had an effect on your leg flaring up, aside
Dude,
from just standing, you know, like
1000%.
Yeah.
You know, again, I am very good at managing stress, but that doesn't mean the stress is not gonna show up in your life.
Oh yeah.
Even if you can manage it, it's still gonna make itself known somehow. So I really do believe, and that's why I say, you know, I'm healing my psyche right now. Is like, I think a big part of the reason my body is healing right now is not just the physical therapy I'm doing, but it's the fact that I'm calm and rested, and like, you know, like looking out for myself and like taking care of myself again.
Mm-hmm.
Versus like when the shop is, when you're a small business owner, your mental health is a priority, yes, but it's a little bit lower on on the list. You know what I mean?
It's more about like you got to grind it out. You're like, hey, you got to get through today.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's it.
So that was a huge component of it, and also, you know, a massive component of that stress manifesting in my body was like, dude, you know, I mean, like the shop was broken into in January of 2020. Just,
I remember that.
yeah,
Oh
the
my
window got
God.
smashed, you know? And so like I have, you know, like I have just been dealing with nonstop shit at the shop, you know what I mean? And so like I would go to bed every night just literally just thinking like, please tonight just do not be the night that the shop gets broken into again, you know? And every morning when I would pull up to the shop, like my first thought like was always like, is the shop good? Did anything, get vandalized or whatever? And so like I was, despite my ability, like despite my resilience, you eventually get to a point where you're like, all right, I'm done being resilient. I am just worn out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, the stress was absolutely influencing. And dude, it's a nerve issue that I'm dealing with. That's connected to your brain,
100%.
and like, I'm so glad the physical therapist I have, um, he's fucking awesome, and he's very like whole body approach. He knows a lot about like the nervous system and stuff. So a lot of the work he's been having me do has been very like, you need to calm your whole body down, so your body's not constantly inflamed. You know what I mean? And that's a whole nother conversation. But again, he is proven to me that yes, like part of the issue I was dealing with was just the constant stress was really causing my nervous system to flare up. And so,
Dude, that's so crazy, bro. That's such a powerful statement that you say that. Like the
yeah,
stress was causing that flare up and like
yeah,
or contributing to it at least.
100%.
That's so scary.
Yeah. And it was this catch-22 because like, what does a BMX rider do when he's stressed? He rides. He or she, or they ride like, and so I was just, I had a really tough, few months again it was April when I took that trip to Phoenix. I was totally lying to myself on that trip. I was like, I'm gonna, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm not even lying.
Totally lying to myself.
I went out there with my bike, and I was like I love taking, little solo trips like that. So it was good for me. Don't get me wrong. But I went out there with my bike, and I was like, I had this new bike from my homies at Colt, and so I was like, all right, I'm going to go out. I got my new bike. Like, I'm going to have a good ass little rejuvenating trip. I'm going to get back to myself. And dude, I had one session out there, and my leg was just like, nerve damage. It feels like your leg, like wherever the issue is, it feels like it's on fire.
Oh,
or
wow.
like, yeah, like pins and needles and like this burning sensation. And dude, I just like, I was just like, they're going to have to amputate my leg. You know what I mean?
Jesus. Go straight for it.
Yeah, I was like, it was that bad. And so from April through like probably August, I was just like, secretly, I was just miserable. And like, again, that's not to say like, woe is me, like give me sympathy. Like life is hard at times, and I was just going through it. But again, I just had to make a change. And the big like the pivotal moment is it was a Saturday morning in July, and my mom and my stepdad came to the shop to surprise me. And I was just over it. I was just so burnt out, and it was starting to show just in my day-to-day interactions at the shop. And literally, like, my mom saw me interact with the first customer of the day, and she just like pulled me aside, and she was just like, Ty, what the hell is going on? And I just told her, I was like, I have nothing left in the tank, and she was like, you have to do something. She was like, this is not you, she was like, you are not like an angry, like upset person, she was like, you like whatever. And I love my mom to death. And so, hearing that from her when she said, do whatever you have to do, like hearing that from her, I was like, I'm getting rid of the shop.
Damn.
Yeah. Cause I wasn't
crazy.
myself,
Yeah.
I was hiding a lot of pain, like I was at the shop and my leg would feel like it was on fire, and I just, what could I do? I had to work, So like,
Wow.
yeah, sorry to, make it such a heavy.
No, dude, it's not heavy at all. You're I wanted you to come on to talk about this. Like it's so eye-opening because dude, I would literally go just to see you. Like, and then, but like knowing that you were in pain this whole time and you would tell me about what was going on. So it's like,
yeah,
to know that that's what you were going through. Like, bro, fuck. Like, I feel that pain though too. Cause like I've definitely had that when I broke my back, I had to still work. Like, cause it wasn't like a full break. It was like a crack.
Yeah.
But you can't twist. You can't do anything. All you can do is walk and sit.
Yeah.
All you can do.
And dude, and being limited by your body is really mentally taxing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like at the time, I just turned 29. So at the time I was 28, dealing with this, and like, to be 28 and like thinking like, shit, like my body's not working right now was really, really mentally taxing. And it was like you were saying earlier, all this stuff we do influences one another. It's about balance,
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm dealing with this pain, everything started dipping in quality. You know what I mean? Like, just like, our content started, I started getting really apathetic about putting out content. I just kind of was like really, admittedly, I was avoidant. I was avoiding the shop, at a certain point, I just like didn't want to be seen or didn't want to be at the shop because I was just in fucking pain. Um, the roasting was like the last thing I wanted to do because it hurt to like go have a long roast session, after a long day at the shop. So like roasting really started to dip. Everything was just going downhill quick, around that summertime period, like June, July. Um,
And it's hot as fuck in the roastery.
yeah, it's hot
Oh
as
my
fuck.
god.
Like,
Yeah.
and so it was just all these things were lining up. And like, again, when my mom rolled up that day and, pulled me aside, I was like, fuck, she's right. I was like, something's got to give,
Yeah.
so.
Mom Dukes knows best, man.
Oh,
You know?
1000%. Yeah. I may have known deep down, but I was like, it was taking me so long to admit it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That I was like in serious pain and stuff. And, yeah, so just had to do it.
Dude, I mean, I'm glad more than anything that you took the time to heal mentally. That's a big deal because,
Yeah.
I mean, personally, just also knowing about the injuries and like being so limited. I mean, from jump, like, dude, I think the first major injury I ever had was, I was like 6. I was
Damn.
like, I got
Yeah.
that scar that I have on my face. It like
Yeah.
ripped my whole shit off. And like much like you, it was kind of crazy. Is that like I remember like I got wheeled into the hospital, and I was sitting there, and I remember looking up at my mom, and I was like, "Am I gonna die?" And she was like, she started crying. She's like, "You're not gonna die." And then like
Yeah.
all these people are not. They're just like, but every time somebody comes and looks at you, they're like, "Oh shit!" Like,
Yeah.
dude, the homeboy had ripped off my eyelid, so the eyelid was gone, so my eye is fully exposed, and like I had this
Damn.
hole in my fucking cheek where you could see like my cheekbone and then my jaw. It was crazy,
Fuck.
but it was like the healing process. You go through it, and then it was like through the rest of my life. It was like broken ankles, like
Yeah.
AC separation in your shoulders, like torn labrums, like dislocated hips, broken back. Like they're all like you get through it, but dude, when you're in that moment and it's like it's like not only is it scary because you can't physically move in certain ways, but then much like you're talking about, you start to develop mental blocks
100%.
and mental challenges.
Yeah.
And if you don't deal with that, like at some point, like a sports psychologist or even just overcoming it, I mean, as a BMXer, I'm sure you will go back to the trick
Yeah.
that you got fucked up on, and you're like, no, I'm gonna do that shit.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean? So it's like, but dude, as I got older, it got way harder. Like,
Yeah.
the mentals got way more challenging because it like, I guess recovery got longer.
It gets tougher.
Yeah,
I mean, dude, even now as I'm healing, I have, I'm riding again, but every session I have to go into it now thinking like, listen to your body first.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer, I feel good today mentally, I'm just going to go do what I do. It's now it's, I'm slowly kind of ramping myself back up, into riding harder again, but even so, it's like when I go pedal now, I am taking like a complete, like I go down like a mental checklist through my body of like, is anything feeling off? Is my leg, is it burning right now? And that is my, that tells me whether or not I can ride that day.
Damn.
You know, so that's like, and that'll get better with time, you know, as I continue to heal. Um, but you know, it definitely changes. And that's, again, that's why I keep referencing that Phoenix trip is like, dude, I like, I mean, full transparency, like I called my mom and I just cried because I was like, you know, I was just like, holy shit, my body is just like not working. Like something is wrong, you know? And like when I say it's not working, it's just like, again, my leg was on fire. I was trying to ride through the pain, but like these tricks I would normally do just weren't happening. You know what that's like,
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Oh
And
yeah.
again, yeah, that mental block starts to happen. And like, I was just so like, that was my first time in my adult life where I was like, dude, I might lose this battle. You know what I mean? Where
Mm-hmm.
like in terms of physical health, you know.
Well, what I'm hearing too though is like, because the thing that comes to mind is like this I had to deal with is like self identity, right? Like
1,000%.
you identify as a BMXer. That's part of your identity as who you are as a person and what you've offered in this world to
Yeah.
this point in your life. I had the same thing. I dealt it with like I had to deal with that, and dude, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Like after the long healing process of like both the hip and the back, um, I had to relearn how to skate, and I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. And then there was a point after I was like fully healed where I couldn't even like, bro, I couldn't like bend down like squats. It
Yeah.
was so gnarly. And I think by that point I had just turned 30, maybe 31. So it's not
Yeah.
even that long ago. But um it was so heavy, and I remember like breaking down. I would
Yeah.
call my mom same way, like, Ma, like I don't know, like I can't.
Yeah.
I remember telling her like I don't know who I am if I can't at least get on my skateboard.
1,000, dude, 1,000%. You
feel
hit
me?
the nail on the head.
Yeah,
And
like
that's, and only athletes can really, not only athletes, but you know, only like really passionate people can understand that it's a part of your identity, you know? Like, dude, I've been on a BMX bike my whole life. Even before I knew that BMX was like this whole subculture, and that, you know, there were companies and teams and riders, and like, you know, I've been on a bike my whole life. Like, you know, people from my childhood still hit me up and say like, damn, that's crazy, you ride still? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I still ride,
dude, yeah, fuck yeah.
you know. And it's like, it's just been my whole life. And that's what I'm saying is like, that's why when I called my mom, and you know, it was just hitting me like a ton of bricks, is like, you know, we're gonna have to face face the music eventually. We're gonna not be able to, you know, push down the street on a board or pedal down the street or whatever it is. You do have to face that eventually, but I did not expect to face that at 28, you
Yeah.
know? And so like, that's why I gave up my shop, is because like, again, lots of things led up to it, but the final straw was like, I was like, dude, I am too young to give up on BMX right now, because that's who I am. You know, is I am a BMX rider, you know. And like, so yeah, so it's Steve Nash, he had a documentary a while ago
The
now.
basketball player?
Yeah, the basketball
okay,
player.
I was like,
Yeah.
wait, whoa.
Yeah, I'm a closet basketball nerd.
I know, I love it.
Yeah, I love basketball. So Steve Nash, when he was nearing the end of his career, he had a documentary out about, he had a back injury also, and he was trying to recover. But same thing, when you're back, you know, when you injure your back, that jeopardizes a lot, because everything stems from the back, you know. So he has this documentary about like how he was trying to heal and get back to like being an athlete and being able to move again. And he sums it up. I don't even know if he was the first person to ever say it, but he says an athlete dies twice. Once when they, you know, pass away, but the first time they die is when they stop getting to move and do what they love, you know?
Yeah.
And that's it, you know. Is I really had to face that this past year. And I felt like there was still more left in the tank. Even though I was in a lot of pain, even though I was really hurting, and I really was questioning like, damn, can I still ride? I was like, you know what? You're 28. If there's ever going to be a time that you heal, it's now, because I'm never going to be as young as I am now.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, so I just had to face that music. And again, I was stubborn it's not even that I was stubborn. I just wasn't necessarily sure like giving up the shop was the right move. But
because
like,
you're a staple now. People know
yeah,
you.
dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, dude, we were only there. I had the shop for almost 3 years. We were only open for 2.5 years, and like, so I was just like, dude, am I gonna lose our following or our leverage or our clout essentially, and like, look, at the end of the day, so far everyone is still really engaged. Online is doing really well, and thank you to all of our followers and our supporters. But at the end of the day, if I lost that, fuck it. Then that, like, I'm trying to live my life right now. I'm trying to like feel good when I wake up. And if losing Tired Eyes is what it took, then I was just ready to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude, it's so crazy just to hear you talking so nonchalant about it, because it's like, I don't know. I don't think I've ever thought, like, I don't know, looking at the coffee scene in
yeah.
San Diego, like, I don't know, because I've been into it for 6 years now or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Watching people come up and then become these brands and like get recognition, and I just, for some reason, I'm like, oh yeah, like Cafe Moto, there's Zoom Bar, like these people,
Yeah.
like once you're in coffee, you're in it. You don't really see people like leave it and like be happy about it.
Yeah.
And just to kind of like, because that thought's never even crossed my mind, but it has as of late,
Yeah.
as to like where I'm gonna go to make pivots and do these things. But it's like to watch you do it and like just so nonchalant, like just like no care in the world almost, and it's like, and you're at peace with it. It's like, it's almost, it's like inspiring, because it's like, dude, it's like you can leave coffee, you can do this
Yeah.
and do more and do sicker shit, because it's like,
Yeah.
you made it your own brand, and you made it and you proved it, and you don't have shit to prove to anybody anymore. It's like, you did it, it was successful.
Yeah.
You chose to close it, you weren't forced to close it. And it's like, wow, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Thank you. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's, and just to speak to that, I mean, it's Tired Eyes is still here, and I still have plans to, keep the wheels turning and stuff, and to expand on it, to continue growing Tired Eyes. But again, I had real life shit going on. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I had to be real with myself. I was like, dude, even if I decided to shut Tired Eyes down for good, like to just end the Tired Eyes, story, like, how, I don't want to say easy, but I could come back in 5 years and start a whole new brand and still know how to roast coffee. And, like, again, like that's where like my dad's death comes into play, is like, life is just too short not to like, to do what you love and to pursue the things that really make you tick. And again, so I was just getting so burnt out, and I literally felt like I was getting just beat up mentally.
Yeah. I mean, since this has been kind of like a subject that we've been talking about a lot on this episode or whatever, but like, have you thought about like meditation and like clearing your head and shit? Like, what?
This is so crazy.
Why?
Yeah, I meditate now.
Dude, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Big advocate of that.
Yeah. Do you meditate?
Dude, I've been meditating since I was like 12 or 13. Like my
Yeah.
mom, she's like, kind of like into the woo shit, like whatever. Like she'll say like, oh, well, this is happening, sweetie, because like Mercury's in retrograde and stuff like that. I was like, all right, whatever, ma. Like, whatever, it's fine. But one thing, like after I broke, I think it's either after I broke my first ankle or it was after I broke my second ankle,
Okay.
like a couple months apart, she was like, I have this lady you have to go talk to. And like, she ended up being like this famous person who was in like Maxim magazine and like,
Damn.
like communicating with people, like whatever, because my mom knows these people. And it was like, all right, I'll talk to her. And she, like, I had this session with her and she kept calling me like Scott. She was like, in a previous life, you were named Scott, blah, blah, blah. Sorry. I just like the person I'm getting up.
So she's
like,
in it. She's
like in
it.
it. Like, and I was just sitting there, I was like, this is fucking bullshit, like kind of whatever. And then like one thing she did tell me though, she's like, you have attained like a lot of injuries in your life already. And she's like, you're only like 13 or something like that. And she's like, you have to start to meditate because she's like, you're way in your head. And she's like, I'll teach you how to meditate. And she like did this. And that was one thing it always kept with me because it always just kind of kept me mellow.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, I got into yoga, and then I started to realize like, oh, it doesn't have to be all woo woo. It's literally just about like healing yourself and like really taking time to be present, and like kind of what I've taken away from meditation is really gaining a grasp of who you are, and like really asking yourself like, who are you? What makes you tick? What's like, do you notice things about your body that are doing like, why the fuck did you do that kind of thing?
100%.
You know, these things. So it's like, I've been doing that since I was, like 12 or 13. And then I became a meditation teacher at the Chopra Center.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah, dude.
Damn,
I did that for a minute.
I did not know this.
Yeah. So like Deepak, do you know who Deepak Chopra is?
Yeah.
So like I met him a couple times. That dude was a trip. But like I would do these guided meditations. Some as big as like, 50, 60 people, and I would like, do breath work and then just like sit in silence with them.
Yeah.
And then walk them out of meditations. But it was like I got a lot of gratification from that.
Yeah.
Because I was more at peace the more I was meditating.
100%. Yeah.
And dude, getting these deep meditations like during COVID or during the height of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Dude, I would meditate for like 3 hours straight some days.
Damn.
Just sit there. And
goals.
like, dude, it would just be like, I wanted to get deep. Because like I was going through some shit too. Like, I mean, we don't have to talk about it. But like, I had to find out more about who I am and like who I was becoming and where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And manifesting
absolutely.
shit. And it's like, that's another thing with meditation. It's like, I feel like I would set an intention and then I would look for an answer, and then eventually in that silence or in the void, whatever they call it, the space, like they want to fucking, like something would pop up,
Yeah.
and you run with that idea and it'll never, and I don't forget them, and it's just like, boom, go that way. So.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's a game changer. And, and I think it's one of those things that we all know it's powerful, but really it's something it's a practice, So yeah, I started meditating after, admittedly just in the last few weeks. I was doing it actually when I healed from the original ankle injury, 6 years ago. It was a really powerful part of my healing process, much like, yours. So when I got rid of the shop, I already knew like I need to get back into meditation if I'm going to heal my body. You really need to be in tune with your body. And again, not to get all, woo woo, like you say. But
I don't mind it. No, I don't. It's just my mom. I just give my mom a hard time. So.
As you should. It's a really important, part of mental health and also physical health. And that's what I'm saying is I realized, yes, it sucks to close Tired Eyes, this thing that I worked so hard on, yes, that sucks, but I'm only 29. And if I heal these things right now and kind of set my inner, motor and compass, if I, really fine tune it, there's no limit to what I can do in the future with Tired Eyes,
Dude, Mamba mentality, man, just like Kobe.
Yeah, straight up.
You're coming back. That's you're just adapting and improving, and you're going to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, the foundation was broken, was the problem. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? On a lot of levels, like I was just dealing with so much. And again, I'm a very resilient person, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to address these things, these inner conflicts and stuff. And so again, my body was hurting, my family was grieving, my psyche was I was just worn out. So I was just like, I just got to fucking make a change.
And you're doing this essentially by yourself. Like, you don't have a wife who's like helping you out. You don't have like a boo who's helping you out. Like, you got your guys at the shop who can cover you and do that. But you're essentially doing this by yourself. And so it's like all that added stress, bro. Like,
yeah. And I mean, I have people in my circle for sure, that really help out. But at the end of the day, it still falls on my shoulders, and like, but yeah, so I'm a big advocate for meditating. I use the app. I don't like Calm so much. I use Headspace.
What's that?
Just an app that, walks you through these meditations. And, and for anyone listening who's interested, it doesn't have to be spiritual. You know, it is literally just like it's an actual exercise.
Like breath work.
Yeah. It's literally just a breathing exercise, and it's a game changer, so I'm slowly becoming more and more of an advocate for it. And there's something that just crossed my mind that I want to clear up for listeners. So with the shop, if you don't mind,
No,
you know,
please.
I'm very grateful for this platform to speak on all these things. And with the shop, anyone who drives through East Village past the shop where Tired Eyes was, they're going to notice there is another cafe there. It has zero affiliation with Tired Eyes, but it is all the same equipment. It is all, you know, it's the same tile, same black ceiling. Like,
Dang.
so what I did was I sold the shop as an asset because I was still locked into a lease that I couldn't get out of. The only way I could get out of it was to either sublease it to someone else, like a completely different business, or sell it as an asset, as in sell all the equipment. And so I kind of was like, well, I can't really go open another shop right now. You know, I'm not in a position to do that, so I'm not going to take the equipment with me. So I listed it for sale as an asset. So some other coffee shop, like a second wave shop.
It was just a plug and play.
Yeah, it was just a plug and play for another shop, and it allowed me to do a couple things. It got me completely 100% clean break from the lease, which is very important. You know, I did not want to be legally obligated to a lease for a space I wasn't occupying. It helped me pay off debt on the equipment, and it helped me pay a little severance pay to my former employees. And it was just a clean break, but I just want to make it clear. You will see Tired Eyes equipment in there. You'll probably maybe even see some Tired Eyes stickers, you know, or, you know, stuff that's reminiscent of Tired Eyes, but we have zero affiliation with the shop that's in there. It was a clean transaction. And so, yeah, I do just want to make that clear.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Dude, getting like into really getting into the weeds of running a business and like really taking that step to especially get like a space. It's like, that's the shit they don't tell you about.
Yeah, it's, you know, there's a reason. This is something, again, now we're just, you know, taking the liberty of using this as a platform to speak out a little bit. This is something that I want every single barista and coffee enthusiast and, you know, any patron of a coffee shop, I want you to think about this, is when you go into a shop like, you know, eventually your shop or Tired Eyes or, you know, Scrimshaw or, you know, any of these small shops that are really doing it on their own. There's coffee, and then there's running a business.
Mm-hmm.
And as an owner, coffee, unfortunately, has to be put on the back burner a lot of the time. So, like, obviously, we would all love to just be completely dialed in all the time, you know, like that is the ideal, you know, experience for a coffee shop. But when you have bills, when you have, you know, taxes to pay, you know, you got payroll to run, you got to think about, am I going to last the next 6 months? Do I have enough money in the bank for next month? You know, when you got to think about all these things, coffee kind of falls much lower on the totem pole in terms of importance. So I just want all baristas and customers and, you know, coffee enthusiasts, when they go into a shop and maybe they're disappointed with an experience, I want them to remember that it might have just been a bad day for that shop.
I mean, it definitely could be.
Yeah.
Dude, I like that you're bringing this up because I've actually been thinking about this quite a bit because it's in running the business. I'm always so much more consumed now by filming, editing of all things, ads, creating content, all these things. The coffee is like the easiest part because it's like, oh, I just got to roast it because I know my profiles.
Yeah.
Same time, I kind of caught myself the other day. Like, dude, I used to just make pour overs in the morning. Like, I was more consumed with the craft.
Yeah.
And I find myself still obsessed with the craft, but I'm not growing my knowledge. Like, I used to wake up in the morning and like daily coffee grind or daily coffee news, and then it was like Sprudge, and then I would like try to keep up with all these new things and like the whole industry. But now I'm getting to a point where it's like I don't even care what's going on in the industry. I know that I have this product that I really, really love, and I love finding new coffees and doing that. But at the end of the day, it's like I don't give Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make my brand build, and my focus is on that. So it's like, if I can make it to these websites and like learn about new stuff that's in the industry, it's like, okay, cool. But like, at the end of the day, the bread and butter is the coffee, and then also your brand and the merch and all the things that you're selling.
Yeah.
And all the other aspects that go into running that business. So I can completely agree with that, because I'm like, damn, dude, like
it's like I'm the easiest, the simplest way I can put it is, it is fucking hard to run a shop.
Oh yeah.
You know, like it takes every ounce of your energy, you know, and so again, you know, like I used to, I would get upset, not upset, like I am not easily upset, but I would get annoyed when, like, you know, someone comes in and they ask for a shot of espresso and, like, you know, maybe a pour over, and then they like want to critique you right there in the moment. And, you know, I think those conversations are good to have. Don't get me wrong. We all want to get better, you know, at the craft, but like, it was just in those moments you start to eventually get tired of it, because you're like, dude, I don't have time to talk about this right now.
Yeah.
It would be great. I would love to talk about how we could roast and brew the best coffee in the world, you know, like, and there's still absolutely space for that. We should all strive for that. Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just, again, I've never spoken publicly about that. And it just, when I go to shops now, I am totally just like, I am so much more relaxed about like, whatever I get that day is what I get. And I'm going to enjoy it for what it is.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And it's helping me fall in love with coffee again, because like, I'm not just like neurotic and, you know, too analytical about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so nice now to walk into a shop and like just fucking order a drip and be like, what's on drip today? You know, and they tell you, and then I'm like, cool, thank you. And then I walk away, and then I just go enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, like, so yeah, so I think that I've just always wanted to say that, you know, just take it easy on shops, because it is fucking hard.
Dude, yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the other thing too. I mean, like, I think, especially in San Diego, it's just the whole vibe here for people. I mean, for the most part, there's not really any bad coffee. But there is still bad coffee, and you add, you know, food to it or whatever. People don't give a shit about the coffee.
Yeah.
They care about the food that they're eating, the experience. Is it Instagrammable? Is it these things that, you know, I don't know, but it's almost like on the same side. I don't know, I guess like same coin, different side, whatever, like however you want to put it. There's also people who are like going above and beyond to like create this experience that is second to none. Yeah. And it's, they're almost becoming like breakfast. I mean, like, it's like I don't even know how to put it. I don't really know how to form this idea, because I've been thinking about this. Like, I've been looking at cafes and like things in LA and like what they do, like the Ghost Bears or like whatever. And, like, they create this whole vibe, and then it's like, but that's only a coffee shop. But then you go to other spaces. Like, I always think about like Italy, and there's this place called Ditta Artengale where it was like espresso bar. And then you go on the other end of that, and it was like an alcohol, like a bar. Yeah. And then you go in the back, and there's this big open kitchen area where they're like, it's a full-on cafe, but it's known as the specialty coffee shop in Florence. Yeah. So it's like, how do you like implement all of these things and then create, essentially, it's like, are you a cafe? Are you a restaurant? Are you just like amazing coffee? Like, what are you doing? Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. When I think of all of that, though, then I also think about you at the same time, because I'm thinking like, damn, he got out of it. Yeah. Like, I think about Caffeine and Green, and like, I'm pushing forward and only trying to get bigger. And it's like, but would you walk away from this? Like, yeah. I mean, dude,
and, you know, I got to be honest. I think you have to know deep down that you're capable of walking away from it, or else it's just going to own you. You know what I mean? And I see that with other owners, you know, and I'm obviously not going to name names, but, you know, I see it with other owners who get consumed by their business, and I'm like, damn, I don't know if they could walk away from this. And like, again, like, you know, obviously I wish my dad was still here, but like, his death really taught me that, you know, life is too short to get attached to these things, you know? Mm-hmm. And But yeah, so I mean, I think you do have to know deep down that you could walk away from it if you had to. You can't get too attached to it. Um, but in terms of like, you talk about like the experience and stuff, that is something I would love to see more of, and I think is possibly the future of specialty coffee is like Tired Eyes. If we have a shop again, yes, it's going to be a coffee shop, but like it is going to be conceptually much different than just an average come pick up your coffee and your bagel and go. It's going to be like it's going to be full blown like streetwear, BMX, like retail shop, and we're going to have a sick ass bar in there that serves really good coffee.
It's exactly like the idea of like kind of the path that I'm going to be going down. Like my 5 to 10 year plan of like, it wouldn't even like the coffee is just like, I don't know. I think this is also too what like I relate to you so much because like we kind of have like similar views and like coffee's just gonna coffee's kind of what started the podcast is what started Caffeine and Green and then coffee kind of taking it to the next level. But much like you, the lifestyle, the brand, building more stuff, it's like coffee's just going to be another avenue of something that helps start it, but it's not going to be the bread and butter of it eventually.
Coffee is really just a glue. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's what connects everyone. It's what brings people in the door, and it's what we can all wake up look forward to each morning, and so coffee really is the glue that kind of holds it all together. But I think if you really want to stand out, you got to have more than just that, or else
you have to.
Yeah. And you can be a great cafe doing just coffee. Don't get me wrong. But like, I think, I don't know, like, I haven't been there, but like Dead Stock Coffee in Portland. Have you heard of them?
No.
So, their concept is like coffee and sneakers, and they're like,
oh, dude, they do hip hop, like the hip hop bags.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I will admit again, I have not been there. So, all I'm saying is from the outside looking in, it's like that type of concept I think is like really powerful where again, you're aligning yourself with this lifestyle and this kind of extra curricular, kind of component to your brand that then again, you have all these sneakerheads coming in and coffee is that glue that kind of connects all of them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so for me, like, if we do Tired Eyes again, or when I do a Tired Eye shop in the future, like it's going to be like, I don't necessarily know that I'll have like BMX bikes like for sale in there. Cause I don't want to be a bike shop. You know what I mean? Like, cause that's a really tough market. But there's going to be like videos playing of my homies riding and, we're going to have like a full retail section with like, gear and goods that all feed the BMX lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not just going to be just a cafe with some pastries and some coffee. It's going to be like a full-blown experience. And so I would just love to see more of that,
Dude, I agree. I completely agree. That's exactly the path that I think I'm going to go down. And it's funny that you that you brought up that dude in Portland because I was curious about that. I forgot the name of the shop, obviously, but I wanted to know how that dude, because I mean, I don't know how it is for BMX because you guys just go to skate shops and probably get skate shoes, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, BMX. We mostly just buy Vans because that's really Vans and Etnies are the only companies that explicitly support BMX. You know what I mean?
Okay, so that makes sense.
So
it's like
there are BMX shops, very few BMX shops. So we mostly, just kind of. Honestly, Vans is like the dominant one, and BMX riders are like very few BMX riders wear Nikes anymore because Nike cut their BMX program.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So that my point with that being though is that like the sneakerhead thing, I want to know how that dude got in there because I'm like, there's no way. There's no fucking way.
He used to work for Nike.
Yeah.
I think.
No, he did. Okay, he was a shoe designer.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's how, when I had read and like learned about it, I was like, okay, that's how he got this plug. Because I was like, dude, Nike just go, no shade Nike. Sorry if you ever want to sponsor me, but they fucking like when they sell it to skate shops, they make you buy all their shit.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
super crazy. That's why I was like, how is this dude just running a coffee shop and not buried in debt off these shoes that I'm sure he has to get? Like, they're just, from anywhere. But he had the plug because he used to work at Nike. So it's
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. And
sense.
Nike is, basically based out of Portland.
Yeah.
It's in Beaverton, right next to Portland.
Adidas is there too.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't know if it's in Beaverton, but I know Adidas is. I know it's in Portland.
Okay, that's sick. Yeah, I mean, Adidas is kind of slowly making their way into BMX, which I'm very excited for. I can't speak on who it is that they're picking up, but in 2022, I know some people who are getting picked up by Adidas, which I'm.
That's amazing.
Oh, it's
the Steez game is about to just be stupid. Right
exactly.
Now.
It's gonna, dude, it's gonna go off, and like,
yeah.
Again, these people that I know that are getting the hookup, I'm like, they have worked very hard for it, and they are about to see the fruits of their labor, and it's a powerful time to be a BMX rider, a skater, or any sort of like. It's a powerful time to have any sort of skill that also has a lifestyle attached to it, because companies are realizing that's the new form of advertising.
Oh yeah, dude, you're like, well, it was always that way, but now it's just like every person is their own little brand, right?
100%.
So you're like, that's what it is, your brand, and it's like your followers and this and that.
Yeah.
It's like there's not really teams anymore. I mean, there's a team, but there's not like you don't have to go and hang out with the team all the time anymore. If it's like you're fucking Nigel Houston, dude, or like whatever.
It's so crazy that you say that, because my homie DeMarcus, shout out DeMarcus Paul, one of the realest people I've ever met, and him and I were just talking about that in June maybe, and he was one of the first people I was telling, like, hey, I'm thinking about getting rid of the shop, and a big component of it was taking influence from BMX. I feel like I need to be building my personal brand more, and so I have a lot of plans for that in 2022. But he said that to me. He was like, we were just comparing it to BMX, and he was like, yeah, dude, he was like, teams are not a thing anymore. It's about the individuals, and it's like, so again, to anyone listening, even if you're just a small coffee roaster, start that fucking personal brand, start sharing your story and like sharing your skills and building those skills, because like that is the fucking future,
Dude, I think that's the one thing I struggle with, and I'll be very open about it. I don't like, when I was younger, when I was skating full time, bro, you could not get me out. Like, you could not get me out of the frame. Yeah. I wanted to be in front of that camera. I don't give a fuck. As I'm like talking shit or like skating or doing something dumb, you could not get me out of that picture. Like, I was there. I mean, obviously I could still talk to people, but like now I'm just so much more enamored and like into being behind the camera. Like, I want to edit. I want to film. I want to do these things. I don't need to be in the photo.
Yeah.
No, like, don't take a photo of me. Like, just get over there. I'll take a photo of you doing something tight or something like that. And it's like, I think for me also, it's really hard for me now to like tell people about it, because I don't want to. I want to be the man behind the iron curtain. Like, cool. Yeah. Yes, I know everybody, like, and everybody knows me. Cool. Whatever. Not to sound boastful like that, but like, it was, I'm saying this because like, I don't like to like yourself. I'm actually really private. I'm very reserved.
Yeah.
Even though there's like people listening to us right now talking, this is very much like a one-on-one conversation, So
yeah,
it's like,
absolutely. Yeah.
I wouldn't just go talk to somebody about the shit we're talking about on the street randomly, but like, I will definitely talk to anybody. But it's like to even put my phone in front of my face and be like, hey, this is what happened, or this, like this. The views are like, the proof is in the pudding. When I did the thing about the truck, dude, I had like 2,500 views on a video, and I can barely break 100 sometimes if it's like people really don't know who a guest is.
Yeah.
So it's like, whoa. It's like, the proof is in the pudding. You have to look at the numbers, just like Ryan Holiday talks about, like analyzing all these numbers, analytics. It's like, how do you overcome telling people about your story and feeling comfortable with it? Because I don't want to be a social media like influencer person. Like,
yeah, I mean, and you're asking me, right?
I'm asking you,
Yeah. I mean, and like, admittedly, like, I don't share a lot on Instagram right now, but I am going full blown influencer mode in 2022. I'm building a video studio for this shit. Like, for me, I'm just at a point in my life where, again, given everything I just talked about in this podcast, everything I've experienced in the last, 3 years, I'm just at a point in my life where I'm just like, if I give a fuck what anyone else thinks about this, I am uh I am not fulfilling my potential. You know what I mean? Like, in order to fulfill my potential, I need to just get in front of a camera and start sharing these things. So it's it's not that I want to be in front of the camera all the time, because again, I really like my privacy, you know. Um, but it's that I've realized, you know, selfies resonate with people. Putting your face on the camera, it's just like you were saying, you know, putting your face on the camera, it resonates with people. And in that sense, your full potential can only be realized if you want to live online, you know, can only be realized if you're willing to do that, you know. So it's
Oh, it sucks.
yeah, it's tough, you
Dude,
know,
I
it's
don't
tough.
like
I
it.
mean, like, it's, you know, in a perfect world we wouldn't have to do these things, but I mean, and look, I ain't gonna lie, it's always been in me. It's not like I don't like getting in front of the camera, you know, like I do like it,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
I should be more honest about that. You know, I do really enjoy it. Um, but maybe more than being in front of the camera, I do enjoy my privacy. So that has been hard for me to realize. But again, the things I'm going to be talking about in 2022 on my personal page, which shameless plug, Tyler Herrera, that's HERRERA_. That's at Tyler Herrera _. The things I'm going to be talking about in 2022, you know, digital marketing, and marketing concepts, like, I don't have to share my life story just to talk about those things.
Yeah, no, you're picking an avenue and you're going down that lane.
Yeah, I'm
So
going
fuck it, yeah.
hard on that niche. You
That's
know what I
dope.
mean? So that's the other thing, is like really realizing like, oh, I can be strategic about this, and I don't have to share my life story. Some people do share everything about their life
Dude,
online.
it's crazy to me.
Dude, you won't even see a glimpse of my apartment on my Instagram, because like even that, I'm like, no, this is my space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you won't even like, you know, you won't see my love life, you know, does not ever show up on my Instagram.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, and it doesn't have to,
Yeah.
you know, like, but, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of facing the music and realizing like a lot of the people, like, look at Ryan Holiday. If you go to his personal Instagram, you know, like, the dude is a machine. You know, he shares so much knowledge on his Instagram. But one thing he doesn't do is like, his kids' faces never show up on his Instagram. You know, he's really adamant about that. Like, you'll never see his kids' faces on there. So you can be strategic about it. And again, like, dude, if I posted, with digital marketing, you kind of have to build a brand around that, because you have to show your skills. The other day I posted something about email marketing, and I showed how in like 12 hours I made $1,000 online through our web store through like a couple emails. And I got over 50 DMs. And like, dude, that was on my personal page. I only have like 1,300 followers or something.
Jesus.
That's a lot of DMs for one story.
That's a lot, bro. Yeah.
So again, I've just really realized like, oh, you have to show, like, I easily could have turned in the future, as my platform builds and grows, I will easily be able to turn a post like that into income. Where, as in, if I show like, hey, I'm working with a client and I'm doing email marketing for them. Look at what we did for this promotion. We made them $5,000 off 5 emails. A new client could potentially see that and be like, yo, I want to work with you.
Yeah, 100%.
So like,
you're building your client list. You're building a marketing agency, sir. That's
legitimately,
what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being 100% candid about it, that is my goal with my personal brand, is I want people to come to me to get help with their marketing. And I have a lot of work to do. You know, I have to build my skills a lot. And so that's what 2022 is all about, is really honing my skills and proving that I can make people money.
Sick.
You know, but
Yeah.
I want, you know, like, I want you to be able to come to me, or I want, you know, a BMX brand, or like, or I don't know, what's a big dream brand that I would love to work for? Like, okay, someone like Onyx Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I was on their website the other day, and I was just kind of, you know, this is something I do a lot now, is I just observe like marketing messages and kind of their position and their angle and stuff. And like, Onyx Coffee, like frankly, I was like, well, there's some work that could be done with their messaging and their copywriting and stuff, but I don't have the skills yet to be able to approach them and be like, hey, let me help you. You know what I mean? I would look like a fucking idiot if I did that. So 2022, I'm like I'm really going to build my skills and use Tired Eyes as kind of my project where I can show, like, look at what I did with Tired Eyes. I made X amount of money off this marketing campaign. Now let me help your business do the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I do.
No, bro, I totally get it.
Yeah, I 100% want to be like a brand and marketing strategist for other companies.
Dope.
Is what I've realized. You know, like Tired Eyes is like so special to me that I just don't want to make it huge. You know, I don't want 5 cafes. I don't want to be nationwide. I just want it to be this dope little thing right here in San Diego that if you know what's good, then you know about Tired Eyes.
Bro, I swear to God, we're like the same fucking person. Because I've
I
thought
know,
about it,
dude.
like, bro, I don't want to. I'm the same way with Caffeine and Green. I'm like, even the idea of getting the space, like, okay, maybe for a little bit, but like,
Yeah.
not as a whole. Like, dude, I want it to be bigger than that. I want it to be like, if you're in San Diego, you fucking know, but this is the only spot you're gonna find
100. There's power in being. There's power in scarcity. You know what I mean? Dude, that's the name of the game for streetwear. You know what I mean? It's like they do these drops where it's like,
dude, they want 10, you give them 9.
Dude,
you feel me? Like,
that's
yo.
mind blown. Mind fucking
like,
blown.
What I'm saying though, it's creating demand.
Yeah,
and then
so
you could jack up the fucking price.
Yeah,
Boom,
and so like, so Tired Eyes, that's how I see it. You know, evolving is like, you know, more of this, you know, lifestyle brand where we aren't just in it for just like doing crazy numbers. I'm not trying to sell, you know, I'm not trying to sell 30,000 online orders a month. I'm just trying to make sure we're in good with our core customers. We sell out of our shit. Our core customers are happy and they know what's up. And then I'm trying to build my life in the marketing arena, you know, for my own personal income, you know, because I just think it's fun building brands, you know.
Dude, I'm fucking so excited for you.
Thank you, man.
Seriously.
And let me just, you know, be explicit about, like, I'm so grateful you asked me to be on this because you're someone I trust, and that's why as soon as you texted me, I said yes. You know, within fucking 60 seconds, dude, I was like down. You know, because I was just like, I love talking to you. I love what you're doing with Caffeine and Green, and thank you for, you know, giving me the platform to talk about this stuff. You know,
dude, of course, like you're. Now that I've been saying this a lot lately because I've been having more people on as we're getting higher in the podcast. But it's like, dude, you've been on 3 times. Every time I've talked to you, it's been like, we kind of really just played it through the life of Tired Eyes in all honest opinion. But like, I really think it's super dope what you're doing. I'm inspired. I've told you this multiple times when I hang out with you. I definitely draw a lot of inspiration from you.
Thank you.
And then I also I'm an avid watcher, like a viewer of your story. It definitely helps me. Books that you recommend are amazing. I would never know.
Yeah.
And you know, but like, it's helping me to get better. So it's like, dude, just keep inspiring, keep going. I love everything you're doing, and just keep being fucking badass.
Thank you, man. And likewise, dude. I'm San Diego's lucky to have you, you know, and I'm excited to see the Caffeine and Green, journey continue.
Oh, it's gonna go. I can't wait to see it. Like, bro, I'm gonna get a cage one day. It's gonna be like a Caffeine and Green MMA cage, and we're gonna host a fight. That's gonna be like.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. Attaching yourself to a lifestyle or another activity or something. That's the way to go. You know.
Oh yeah. And I got a skater now too. Shout out Brandon
dude.
Reynolds.
Oh my God, dude. Brandon! If you happen to be, that's his name, Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon.
That younger kid.
Yeah.
Dude, that back 3 off that little planner thing.
Yeah. No, it was a bump over, fuck, what? It was like a center divide thing. Like a half of it.
Like a kind of a barrier thing.
Barrier, there we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, he lifted the planner up,
yep.
you know, and like, dude, the back 3, I watched that so many times that day that it was in your story, because like that kid has the fucking steez. Like,
dude, I've known him since he was like 9 years old.
How old is he?
He's like fucking 22, just turned 22. He's a baby.
Damn.
But dude, I've been watching him skate, and like, I made up my mind that I wanted him to be the skater. Brandon, you didn't even know this. I didn't tell you this. But like, I made up my mind, like, because I've known his parents and shit too. But we were it was like Amslam over at San Diego Mission Beach. And he fucking was just killing it. And then they had this ramp that was built up flush to the side of a bus. and he fucking went up and he skates street.
Yeah.
This thing is oververt. He fucking goes up onto it, boom, backside nose picks it, pulls in, and then like basically rides it out. And I was just like, that's who I want right there.
That's
like,
so dope.
He's the homie. He's really cool. I've watched him grow up, and I know he's talented. So it's like, the first thing I do with any of the athletes that I sponsor is when I hit them up, I'm like, do you drink coffee?
Yeah.
And they're like,
absolutely.
yeah. And they were like, okay, cool. Because like and no shade to any of the people who have hit me up to like try to get on, or even people who support still.
Yeah.
If you don't drink coffee, I can't
honestly,
absolutely. Give you the coffee. But hey, product all day, G. Like, because that's the other thing is building the lifestyle brand. It's like, it's so dope to go into the gym and like somebody I don't even know is rocking like a t-shirt or a fucking jacket
it is
or something.
Game changer.
It's so G.
Yeah. I was just telling a friend of mine the other day about that. Like, selling coffee is cool. Don't get me wrong. But like, anytime I see a stranger walk down the street or like I'm, in whatever neighborhood and I see them in a Tired Eyes shirt or beanie or whatever, like that feeling is just like so exhilarating.
Yeah.
And it's not just because of like, sure, it's a slight ego boost, but it's so powerful knowing like someone put on your work, like, and wants to rep your brand, and it's part of their day. You know what I mean? Because like when I put a t-shirt, like, look, I got this sweater's from Eat Sell. Shout out Eat Sell.
Oh, is that hers?
Yeah, Eat Sell. When I put this on, I feel good knowing like, damn, I got my friend's hard work, like I'm repping it.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? So that, and it makes me feel good. It's like a part of my day. And so when I see someone, I just saw some dude in Golden Hill the other day in one of our matcha t-shirts. I have no clue who he was, but dude, he was just rocking the matcha t-shirt, and I was just so proud because I was like, damn, we're a part of his day, like, and that's powerful, so. Dude,
I was wearing your hat. I was out, dude, don't ask me why, but I ended up in PB and I was at Open Bar. And
happens to the best of us.
Dude, this is like a couple weeks ago, and I was with my friends, and I was like, yo, I'm going to go stand outside real quick because we were dancing, and I was like, yo, I'm mad hot. So I went and stood outside on the smoking patio, and I was just standing there, but I was wearing your hat. That I had bought on like the last day or whatever, and this guy was like, oh, is that a coffee cup? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I like that logo. I was like, that's my homie's company. I was like, yeah, it just closed, but like they got it all online, so if you could get it, it's just called Tired Eyes back here.
Hell yeah.
And he was like, oh, that's sick. And I was just like, dude, I love rocking the shit because I'm rocking it because I know that it's my homie, so it's like I don't ever get bummed on rocking homie's gear.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
It's like, dude, I don't splurge much in my life, but I will not hesitate to spend money on other people, on friends' merch. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's one thing I buy a lot of is other friends' merch, because it's like, dude, I love, underneath this Eat Sell hoodie, I have Box Palm, which is my homie Albert, pro BMX rider. Like, it's his little, like, he just does like illustrations and stuff, but he makes apparel too, and so I have a Box Palm shirt on underneath this. You know what I'm saying? And it's
all
like
homie gear.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
and it's totally a skating and BMX thing. You're just so used to supporting your homies,
Always.
But yeah, so when I see someone in a Tired Eyes shirt or beanie or hat or whatever, I'm just like, damn, that's real.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Well, dude, we'll leave it right there.
Thank you, man.
Dude, tell the people again, your website coming up.
So tiredeyecoffee.com. That's where you can find all the Tired Eyes gear, whole bean. The email list is where it's at. So when that email pop-up form asks you to sign up, do it. I guarantee you won't regret it. I give lots of updates. I drop merch through there. I give promotions through there. My personal Instagram is Tyler Herrera. That's HERRERA _. So Tyler Herrera _ and yeah, lots of exciting things coming in 2022. Just let me, catch my breath and recover from a crazy couple years, and then it's game time.
Yes. All right, brother. I'm so excited. I can't wait, and I know it's going to be another exciting year.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Good luck in 2022.
Thank you.
Peace. Yes. Thank you so much, Tyler. That was an amazing conversation. Dude, so heavy, just the things he's overcome and the things that he's gone through over the last year and a half, 2 years. But on to bigger and better things. My G is doing amazing, amazing things. So stay tuned, get familiar. Tyler Herrera is doing big things. And guys, I just want to take this time to say again, thank you all so much for the continued support of Caffeine and Green. Whether you guys are listening to the podcast, buying the coffee, getting the merch, whatever it is, I just want to say, everyone around the world, thank you all so much. And that's it, guys. Got maybe one more, I think, before the end of the year. Maybe. We'll see. But if I don't have one, take care. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Be nice to each other. Happy New Year. Caffeine and Green, baby. Peace!